Maurice. How are you today?
I am very good.
You're doing very well. Congratulations on becoming International Marshal for Capital Pride. I just want to say that. And again, I know that you got the inaugural award, the David Cato Award, and another congratulations on that. I just wanted to speak to that first. What does it mean for you to have received the David Cato Award and now this International Grand Marshal Award?
I was shocked to have gotten the David Cato Award because, of course, David was always a hero of mine. I mean, the willingness to stand up to intolerance and to stare death down like he did. I mean, I just never thought that I could stand in, or to fill those shoes. So I was incredibly humbled. But I then was able to use that platform of being the award winner to meet some incredibly influential people in UK, around the world, at the UN, and discuss the situation of LGBT violations, not only in Jamaica but in the Caribbean. And I think because of that voice that I was given, I was able to see some change. For example, the first time we've ever seen a Jamaican government minister condemn a murder of an LGBT was what happened to Dwayne Jones. Before that, it would have just been ignored.
Exactly. What would you say to younger lawyers, people in that profession? How would you mentor them to do what you're doing?
Right. It is a big issue because a lot of young lawyers are scared about professional suicide in Jamaica. They're just starting out. They don't want to be associated with too toxic an issue. But if you're going to take a risk, now is the time to take it. And there's a lot of good work that can be done in human rights to cut your teeth, to learn about the issues. You can volunteer. If you want, some of the lawyers that I work with, they decide they don't want to be upfront. They'll help to draft the pleadings, etc. But you have to get involved in human rights now, because if you get all tied up with commercial issues, you will never ever want to come back to it. And at the end of the day, you will be a soulless person. And I really think that there are so many good issues to litigate. Reach out to any NGO that you think is speaking the same language you do, and volunteer your time. That's how I got involved. I was only going to do books for J-Flag. I was only doing their corporate stuff, and here I am now.
Yeah. How often do you go back to Jamaica?
I go back as often as is necessary. So in 1 month, for example, I was there every week, back and forth every week. And now I have cases coming up in September, October, and November. So I'll probably go once a month. But yeah, I go as often as is necessary. I really go as often as is necessary.
This story is kind of personal for me. My family's from Clarendon, grew up in Trout Hall and all those things. I was wondering, is there any particular area that is any worse off in Jamaica than, say, would you say there's a difference between the rural areas than the city? No?
I wish I could say that, but I'll just give you an example of what happened over the last 2 months.
Right.
Dwayne was murdered in St. James, which is the tourist capital. The police officer was attacked downtown Kingston. The suspected gay police officer. The home invasion occurred in St. Catherine. We've had an attack in Mandy. There really is no safe place, and it's really sad that is the situation, because it's not like here where this is a dangerous area. I will just avoid it or I'll leave. We don't have that option.
Now I know you do a lot of work with HIV/AIDS, things like that. Would you notice the greatest obstacle for people who identify as LGBTQ+ is accessing services? So what do you see as the future for those folks and accessing service for HIV/AIDS?
We have begun to see some recognition, at least by the government, that they have to get rid of homophobia and transphobia if they want to see an improvement in our numbers. And so the Minister of Health has made those statements that that we need to get rid of homophobia. The challenge is that the cabinet itself on block is so scared of the church that they will not do anything to promote and protect the rights of LGBT. But it's going to change, because the reality is, right now, Jamaica has the highest HIV prevalence among MSM worldwide. 1 in 3 MSM has HIV. Those kind of numbers cannot remain the same, because we really don't have the money to finance it. So at some point, we're going to have to get serious about promoting the respect for the rights of LGBT so that they can feel free to access the prevention, treatment, care, and support interventions that they must have to drive the numbers down. Another issue, which they are being very, they're taking on board, is that because of the level of homophobia in Jamaica right now, we have many men forming false relationships with women. And recent research showed that nearly 60% of the MSM also have relationships with women as a cover for their
As a beard.
Right, for their homosexuality. And some of these men do all sorts of things. One guy, for example, he drives around with the condoms that he uses with his male lover in the back of his car because his wife is on the pill. So his wife can't find out that he's having a condom. Of course, the condom is disintegrated. So we have gotten the government, I think, to appreciate that if you want to protect the health of women and children, you have to respect the rights of MSM and other, queer people. Because if they're not able to form their own relationships unmolested by the law, they will, and they are forming false relationships. And that's when you have HIV bridging between the two populations.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the interview, Maurice.
No problem. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.